The same day that Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer are reunited is the same day that Trea Turner and Bryce Harper are reunited. If you don't remember, they were teammates back on the Nationals. Bryce Harper left. You had Trea Turner traded to LA a few seasons ago, and now they're both back with the Phillies. So we're going to break that down in just a moment, because before we do that, I do have to announce that the Yankees have re-signed Brian Cashman as their general manager up until 2026. And if you're a Yankees fan, you're probably thinking, great, we're going to be the oldest team in baseball, spending money in all the wrong places for the next 4 seasons. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, Brian Cashman, he is not my favorite general manager, but I guess the good news is Aaron Judge, according to Brian Hawk, he is going to be at the winter meetings, which the winter meetings, they're basically a meeting ground for the general managers, for agents, everything like that. That's why JV is signed, Trea Turner signing. I expect Aaron Judge to be signed with the Giants or the Yankees or the Marlins or the Guardians, whatever team you want to throw in the mix. He'll probably be signed in the next week or 2, but that's just me. And now for the biggest story of today, in my opinion. This is bigger than Justin Verlander going to the Mets, because Trea Turner is easily one of the top 15 players in all of baseball when healthy. He is going to the Phillies on, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, 11 years, $300 million. And if you have no idea who Trea Turner is, maybe you're brand new to the game of baseball, he's 29 years old right now, but when the season starts, he'll be 30 years old. So if you do the math in your head, 30 plus 11, this contract will run until Trea Turner is 41 years old. I will be 37, almost 40 as well by the time that this contract is out. I'll have family, I'll have kids. Well, first I got to find a girlfriend, but you know what I mean. Now, before we talk about Trea Turner's stats and his impact on the Phillies, I want to talk about his impact on the other shortstops who are free agents. So Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson, and Xander Bogaerts, those are kind of the big fish in the pond right now. And to me, I think that Xander Bogaerts, he's 30 years old. He's probably looking for a 4 or 5 year deal, maybe 6 years if he's lucky. So he's probably not affected by this Trea Turner deal. Dansby Swanson, he's 28. Carlos Correa, he's also 28 years old. So the fact that Trea Turner is only getting paid $27 million, I say only because that's not a lot for a guy who was one of the best shortstops, if not the best shortstop in baseball. Tatis is making more. Francisco Lindor is making more. I don't know the exact AAV for Wander Franco, but they're all making a ton of money. And Trea Turner making $27 million a year. So what he did is he took less money per year in exchange for a security blanket. He wanted the years as opposed to getting paid $35+ million a year, because if he went for 4 or 5 years, he could have easily been pushing 35, 40 million, and that's being generous. Trea Turner, we'll talk about his stats right now. They're insane, but for me, Carlos Correa and Dansby Swanson, I feel like they just cost himself a few $1 million because they took a little bit too long. But I could just be overthinking the fact that he could be boning other free agents by taking less AAV. So as this guy Caleb said, he's older than Francisco Lindor. So at the time, he's older than Lindor when he signs his contract. And Trea is signed through age 41. So of course, you're going to cost yourself more on a year-per-year basis to secure the future. And if Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, and Dansby, if they're looking for 4 or 5 year deals, nothing's going to be affected by this. They'll get $30+ million easy. I just cannot believe that this lineup is a possibility going into a season. Kyle Schwarber with Trea Turner, Bryce Harper when he comes back from Tommy John. He'll probably be back, as it says, mid-season. You have JT Realmuto, the best offensive catcher in baseball, if you don't think it's Adley Rutschman or Will Smith for that matter. Rhys Hoskins, Castellanos, praying that Castellanos bounces back. Alec Boehm had a strong, or at least a better 2022. Bryson Stott was better in the second half, and Brandon Marsh, the fact that he no longer has a toe tap with 2 strikes, his buddy Bryce Harper taught him that. I mean, this lineup could be one of the best in baseball and easily the best in the National League if you're not talking about the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, not that they're going to be scuffling and hurrying to replace Trea Turner, but they're definitely not as potent as they were with Trea at the leadoff spot or in the top 3 spots of their order. So Trea Turner, again, is getting 11 years, $300 million, and some people are saying, wow, all that money for him to make 12 errors in the postseason. So you're either on that side or you're on the side, the camp with me, that you think he is one of the greatest athletes that has ever graced the game of baseball. A season ago, he had a 5 WAR with the 121 OPS plus. He had 27 stolen bases, 21 home runs. He had a 298 batting average. And honestly, for his career, he is insane. A 302 batting average with a career 122 OPS plus. He's had seasons with 46 stolen bases, 43, 32. He's led baseball twice in stolen bases, once in batting average just a season ago. And just to put it into perspective, since the beginning of 2020, over his last 1,500 at-bats, he's hitting .316 with a near .370 on base percentage and an almost 140 OPS plus. The only thing that you have to deal with is Trea Turner is not the best defensive shortstop, and we all know that. Now, I love this website because it puts everything in one little glance. Trea Turner, we can see he is top 1% in sprint speed. He hits the ball fairly hard, and he gets on base at a high clip. The only problem is he does tend to chase a little bit, so he is bottom 22% in chasing, and then simply with the leather, he is bottom 47% in outs above average. And DRS, he's not the best in terms of defensive run saves either. So Trea Turner, he's the average defensive shortstop in the regular season, and then when the lights are on, I mean, we saw what he did last year in the playoffs with the Dodgers. In one single game, he was making error after error. So if you're a Dodgers fan, are you excited to look for other shortstops like Dansby Swanson? Maybe you call up someone like Jacob Amaya. But do you think that you're going to miss Trea Turner, or do you think that the Phillies just severely overpaid for a guy that when it matters the most, he's going to fumble the ball? Now, of course, to a lot of people, everything I just said does not mean anything, because you signed Trea Turner to a fat deal because of what he brings to the table offensively. Again, if we're talking about the most athletic shortstops of all time, I am putting Trea Turner in that conversation. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not being dramatic. This is not hyperbolic. Trea Turner is without a doubt a top 10 athlete at the shortstop position that this game has ever seen. And if you think I'm wrong, debate a wall, you're wrong. So now let's go ahead and talk about a Trea Turner replacement. Maybe they put Gavin Lux at shortstop, and then they call up a prospect by the name of Jacob Amaya. Jacob Amaya, he's a 24-year-old prospect who is the 15th ranked prospect for the Dodgers. And if we take a look, his tools, he's got a 45 hit tool out of 80. He has pretty good running tools, arm. So he is a defense-first shortstop, and I think that they should call him up and let him rock for the entirety of 2022. But if they don't do that, maybe they want to let Jacob Amaya, cook a little bit more in AAA and bake and become a more complete player. Maybe they go out and sign Carlos Correa. Maybe they go out and give it to Dansby Swanson. Now, I don't know if a lot of people believe in Dansby over Carlos Correa in terms of ceiling. Maybe Dansby has the higher ceiling because he's the better athlete. Defensively, I mean, I think he won a Gold Glove this year, right? Yeah, he won a Gold Glove with 32 doubles, 25 home runs, and a 115 OPS plus. So he's not going to get on base as much as Carlos Correa, but maybe you want kind of Carlos and Dansby put together in Xander Bogaerts. He had a much better defensive season. He's 30 years old, so again, he's going to be affected if he wants a long year deal because Trea is only getting $27 million. Again, 27, that's a lot of money for regular folk like us, but for a shortstop of the caliber of Trea Turner, that's not a lot. But again, he took that because he wants the security of the long-term deal. But Xander Bogaerts, he would be a fantastic replacement. You keep Gavin Lux as your second baseman, and then you have Xander Bogaerts in that lineup. You have enough money to go out and get Carlos Rodon because Clayton Kershaw took a hometown discount. The Dodgers, because they are so elite at acquiring talent and even developing talent, that they can flip some of their top prospects for a couple relief pitchers to fill in the gap in left field if Joey Gallo leaves. Maybe they go out and sign Brandon Nimmo to be their center fielder. I mean, the thing about teams like the Dodgers, the Astros, the Mets, they can lose players and then just fill in that hole real quick with another free agent or with the trade. I mean, the Dodgers, right now, they're linked to a guy named Brian Reynolds, one of the best outfielders in baseball. If they get him, I mean, they'll be just as good. I fully expect the Phillies to be a World Series favorite for the next half decade, going on a decade, because they have some insane prospects cooking in the minor leagues. And I'm talking about pitching prospects. You have Mick Abel and you have Andrew Painter with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler frontlining that. And then you have Ranger Suarez as a 3. You have those 2 young studs as a 4 or 5. I'm saying the Phillies are going to be a problem for a long time, and it's really exciting. So thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe. Catch you in the next one.